Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here, and welcome to day 5 of the 10-day wire bracelet making challenge. If you're participating in the challenge, you can see the details below in the description. You can either participate on Facebook or you can participate on Discord. So today's video was inspired by this bracelet that was one of the very first pieces that I made for the Viva Vida Art Gallery in Montreal. My friend opened a gallery and she wanted me to make her some original pieces of jewelry and art, and so this was a piece that I made with sterling silver, and my dear friend Allison bought the bracelet. So I'll give you an option after on how to make this bracelet with beads instead of sea glass, but if you have the sea glass you're going to need about 5 pieces, and you can space them out with the little chips, the little stone chips, and I'm going to use 20 gauge copper wire, artistic wire, and of course you need your tools. So I'm going to start with a 12-inch piece of wire. If you're not sure of the size, maybe start with your smallest piece of glass first and cut the wire a little bigger than you think you need because you don't want to run out of wire. So I'm going to start about 3-4 inches from the end, and what you need to do to start is to have a loop. So we're just going to bring it around like this with the larger round pliers and then bring it out a little bit like this, and what we want to make is just like a little area that's going to hold the sea glass. So depending on how thick your sea glass is, we're just going to go like this and bring it up like that there. So then what you want to do is get your piece. This is usually the way that I wrap my stones and my glass. I can link up a tutorial for how to wrap these for pendants, and this is a way that works well for the bracelet. So you're just going to hold that in place, bend that at a bit of an angle, and then up. If you need help with your pliers, just go ahead and bend them up a little bit like that. And then you want to start by just anchoring it in place. So you do a full twist around and then you've kind of anchored it in place there. And then what you need to do, of course, is wrap it. It's going to come out a little bit. Sometimes you just have to be careful. And you're going to take this and wrap it around. So we're just going to go 2-3 times around, 2, maybe 3. And then we're just going to wrap it around here. So now I could tell that I've cut the wire way too long. That was 12 inches. So probably for the bigger piece, 12 inches would be plenty. And because this piece is quite a bit smaller. So we're just going to wind that around there to secure it. And then for this end, you want to do the loop going in the same direction. So we're going to take that, bring it up, and then again with our large round pliers, bring it around to form our loop, and then we're gonna have to bring it around like at least a full turn, maybe even a little bit more, and then clip it like that, and then give it a pinch, and then already we have our lovely wrapped piece with a loop on either end. If you needed to tighten it up, sometimes what I like to do is take my round pliers and just give it a little bit of a jog here, and what I like about that is it makes it look a little more fancy, and it secures the stone or the glass even more in place. So it just tightens up the wires a little bit. Don't do it too much or it's going to distort out of shape. So once you've done all 5, you're going to do some spacers. So I'm going to use the little semi-precious chips for that. And you could also attach them with jump rings. It depends on how large you need it to be and how you want it to look. So I'm going to just take a piece of the 20 gauge wire and bend it at about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. And then just bring this around here. And what you want to do is attach this to one of the pieces. So let's start with the largest piece that will be in the middle, and we'll just attach that here. And basically what you want to do is hold it with the flat pliers, bring it like a full turn around. So I think I cut a little long, so probably 1.5 inches is plenty for that. And then you're going to pinch it in. And I'm just like using a long piece, and I'll cut it as I go. so I don't waste too much wire. So then we'll stick our little chip in there, and then what you want to do is get your smaller round pliers, and you want to make sure that the loops are the same direction, and we're just going to bend that so there's a little bit of a space there. Get your bigger round pliers, bring this around. So just bring it around here. So we start the loop, and then we're going to put our next piece in there. So whatever one you want to go beside there next, we're going to stick that one in here. And you might want to kind of like strategically plan what sizes you're going to use to see about if it's going to be the right size for your wrist. You can always add an extender chain to make it longer. It's a little bit hard to make it shorter, so try to choose your stones accordingly. So we're going to do a full turnaround there, and then you can always like go in with the flat pliers and pinch it as well. So basically we're going to go through and put all of our spacers. So as it turns out, it ended up being long enough with 4 stones instead of 5. If you want to fit in more stones, the solution to that would be to wrap it vertically and put the little loops on either side. Like this one's a little more vertical, and you'll be able to fit more stones in there. Either that or attach the stones with just a simple jump ring that would bring them closer together. So for fun, I'm going to make my own little kind of T clasp to go with this. I don't know if that's what you call them, but I thought it kind of looks a little bit like a T. So it's like a loop with a little T on the other side. So you're going to get your wire and bend it at a right angle there, and then just do a kind of a loop thing here. Now you might want it a little more reinforced, especially with the 20 gauge wire. This you might want to do with an 18 gauge wire instead, would probably be better. So we're just going to pull that around there, and then you have sort of a double kind of loop like that. Now if you're worried about it coming apart, you could definitely like bring this wire in and wrap it around a little bit. I've never looked into seeing if there was a tutorial about making these little loops, but they're pretty cute. I think you could probably make them yourself, and we're just gonna wing it. I've never tried one before, but let's just give it a try. So here's like that little one. It almost looks like a little split ring, and then this one, what we could do is attach it to the bracelet, but for the other side we need a kind of a T thing. So let's just get our wire, cut another little piece, and this is sort of what the clasp looks like. So we want the other end to look something like that. So what we're going to do is we need like what looks like a little ball on either end. So for that, I would just get my round pliers and take this and just do like a little kind of round thing at the end. I guess you could probably maybe put a bead on the end too. I'm not quite sure how that would work, but I'm just going to do, I think just a single loop like that is going to be best, and then bring this back, and then we'll do one on the other side. So I'm going to actually just compare it to this to see how it goes, to make it about the same size. Looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch. But for this stone bracelet, you can just use any kind of clasp that you want. I would definitely use a clasp that closes. I think it's going to be more secure. You don't want to lose the bracelet. And then from here, we'll just bend that down kind of at an angle there. We're just going to do that. And then this one, I realize it should be underneath here, so we'll just have these both going the same direction. So there we have like what looks like a little T thing going on. This should be more centered, so let's just pull that back a bit and just bend that at an angle. So you could always get a ruler to to make sure it's going to be even type of thing. And then from here, I think we can just take this and wind it around. So we'll just wind it around here. Just wind it around once. And And if you want this also to be more secure, you can probably wind another wire around it. For now, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit more, so there's a little bit of a length to that. So we're just going to like wind it around 3 times. So we'll do that and clip that and just give that a little pinch here. And then this one too, just pinch it up a little bit. So this is 20 gauge wire. I find it a little bit it's kind of thin for doing this type of, oh, I guess maybe it's called a toggle, eh? Just that word just came to me. It looks like a little toggle. And then the idea would be, you know, it kind of goes in like that. So whether it's going to work or not, I'm not sure. Let's just put it on the bracelet and see. And like I said, you can do your own kind of clasp that you want. So what we'll do here is just do a little loop on it down here, and it needs to have a little bit of length there. You could even probably attach it with the jump ring as well, might be a good idea. So we're going to stick it on there and get our flat pliers to wind it around a few times. Make sure you wind it around enough times so it's good and solid. So there we go. Boop. And we're going to put this one on the other end, and let's just go ahead, and we want to give it a little bit more kind of length. So I'm just going to bend it here, bring it around here, and I'm wondering if this should be kind of more that way, just perpendicular to that. We're going to try that, and we'll stick it on the end of here. And if it doesn't work, no big deal, because you guys are going to choose your own clasps anyways. We're just going to bring that here and put this. This is nice because you can use the same wire that you've used to wrap your stones. So this is a unusual color wire. This is called champagne. This is the artistic copper wire. So I didn't have any findings that go with that. That's why I made my own. So this is kind of cool. Not too bad. And then it just goes in there and does a little toggle thing like that. So there's the finished bracelet with a little toggle clasp. And like I said, if you wanted to wrap these so the loops are on the side, you could fit in 5 stones and it would look a little more asymmetrical. So if you don't have the sea glass, you could definitely use beads. These are some beautiful 10mm miracle beads that Clarice sent me, and I'll use 20 gauge wire. Was inspired by this necklace I made quite a few years ago. I remember I made one for my mom with the little beads that are surrounded by wires. So we could do a bracelet using the same technique. So when I don't want to cut individual lengths of wire, I'll just cut like a longer piece about 12 inches, and I'll start with that and just cut it as I go. So we'll just start by doing our first little starting loop like this, and I'll just bend that one around just to clip the end here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on the bead. You can just do a little simple loop like this bracelet I made in a previous video, or if you want to make it a little bit more fancy, we can go ahead and bend this to the left or the right, depending if you're left or right-handed. Bring this one around here. So these loops are about the same size, and then hold this with your flat pliers and then bring this around, and then you can just wind it back around the bead to make it a little bit more fancy. Now, what you want to do is just make sure it doesn't kind of like go to one side. Hold it on there with your thumb and your finger to hold it in place, and then bring this around. This is easier to do with a wire that's a little more soft and flexible, but you'll see it looks super, super cute, just like with a little spiral on it. So you can make as many of those as you need. So now to put it all together, we have 6 of our little wire wound beads. I have some stainless steel jump rings, so they're quite strong, and then I'm going to use the little toggle clasp. So basically we'll just take our jump rings and we're going to put them on the little ends. We'll just stick it on there. So it's better to use 2 flat pairs of pliers to open and close the jump rings, and we'll just stick that one on here and just close it up, and then we're just going to put them all together. So the bracelet ended up being a little small, so I added another bead, so there's 7 on there, so you probably need 7 or 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that one end of the toggle. You could even attach these with split rings. That would be even stronger. They're like little key rings. And if you don't have jump rings that hold well, or if you find they open up a lot, just try to get some split rings. That would be great. And for this one, I'm going to do an extra jump ring on the end so it has a little bit more give to it. So we'll put a couple of jump rings there, and then we're going to put this little toggle end. So now you're going to stick the toggle through there, and there we have our super cool funky spiral bead bracelet with these beautiful miracle beads that Clarice sent me. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire work, be sure to join the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club on Facebook. And if the challenge is already over, no problem. You can still hop over to Facebook and join the community. Or if you don't have Facebook, you can hop into the Discord community there as well. And also, if you'd like to check out my wire art and jewelry on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. And I also have a mailing list, so I'll link that up below. And if you sign up for the mailing list, I'll send you my free Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching. If you're participating in the challenge, good luck, have fun with it, and we'll see you the next time.